I want to explore having anxiety around certain emotions. This is likely to happen when people are taught that, certain emotions are just not acceptable to express. Healthy anger is one of them. The reason that this would result is because somebody was raised with probably a parent that was explosive and didn't know how to control their emotions, and therefore they learned to be terrified of healthy anger. But it's interesting because I have noticed that throughout my entire life, I have, I would say less recently, definitely as a result of where I am on my journey of healing. But I have felt anxiety around not just emotions, but also thoughts, also actions, right? When you are not taught confidence regarding who you are as a person, in other words, instilled with positive, high self esteem, you are instead taught the exact opposite, which is anxiety around, your thought processes, your emotions, your behaviors, your actions, what it is that what it is that you do, right? And I think that this is very interesting because I am noticing more recently as I set boundaries and as I create the boundaries of myself, right? Where I begin, where I end, what is not my responsibility, my likes, my dislikes, my wants and needs, all of that stuff goes back to my boundaries. And I think that this is very interesting too because um, when you really bring your focus back to yourself, when you really bring your awareness back to yourself, and you know yourself, right? You're confident in what it is that you see as yourself and what it is that you think of yourself, feel of yourself, your actions, your behavior, all of that stuff. When it's very grounded and it's coming from a place of conscious awareness and also a place of healing and understanding what it is that you need for yourself, the dynamics transform, right? The very way to not have anxiety around yourself, the boundaries that consist of you, is by being aware of what it is that you need for yourself, right? If there's something that you like, that's all there is to it. You don't need to be pressured by people around you that try to pull you outside of that. Because, of course, on their end, that's boundarylessness. And being somebody who is used to that, it can be very easy to get, pulled into it. It can be very easy to get consumed by that. However, when you understand who you are as a result of self awareness, as a result of introspection, as a result of exploring it in a professional setting, the anxiety goes away, and then there's nothing but confidence there. And that's the important thing to understand with all of this stuff. So the only reason, I wouldn't say the only reason, I would say that there are many reasons as to why somebody would have anxiety around certain emotions. But just to, put a case in point, take healthy anger, for example, right? When you express healthy anger as a result of, yeah, it really doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that you express it, right? And then that healthy anger is shamed through something like abandonment, right? Say for instance, you express healthy anger, and then the person, probably a parent figure, leaves. Whether, goes to the other room or physically leaves, right? I mean, they're both physically leaving, but one of them is going to the other room, and maybe they actually leave, like they leave your location altogether, right? You then learn over the course of years, not just right in that moment, you learn that you can't trust the emotion or the emotions that you're feeling because, oh, anger is surfacing. I have to push it down. Because if I don't, then it's going to be expressed. If it is expressed, the person's going to leave. And then I'm going to be shamed because this emotion is not acceptable. It's not true. It's just it's what you've learned. And then of course you attract people based on that stuff, right? There's nothing wrong with healthy anger. You do have to control how you express it though. Because there are differences. If you're angry and you decide to isolate yourself and express it, whether that's scream, I don't know, write, whatever it is, that's all beneficial. That's all productive and healthy. If you go and punch somebody in the face, you're going to get yourself in trouble, you know. But it's very interesting how people can end up having anxiety around different things as a result of, I would argue, usually being shamed out of them. And then they don't understand that that's just not necessary. Not only is it not necessary, it's not healthy. But this usually is a result of, when you're shamed out of a healthy emotion, it's usually a result of somebody that does not know how to deal with that emotion. Somebody who is not regulated, somebody who's probably not teaching you how to be regulated. So somebody who's not regulated is not going to teach you how to be regulated. So, it can be very easy to be brought up by somebody, especially if they're shaming you through the process of like leaving you because you're expressing a healthy emotion. They're definitely not teaching you how to regulate. They're teaching you that your emotion is unacceptable. And that is unacceptable. It's very interesting how this stuff works. So yeah, the only reason that somebody would have, again, not the only reason, but one of the reasons why somebody would have anxiety around emotions is if they have been, like, shamed as a result of that emotion surfacing and then them expressing it. And then the way out of that is just recognizing that there's nothing wrong with the emotion and looking at the person that taught you about that and recognizing that, oh, that's their shit. They left because that's their shit, not mine. And that transforms the entire dynamic.